Good evening. Welcome to the second part of functions, Python fundamentals with functions. All right. So like I said, we're going to remember our first program, and then we're going to create some functions for this, right? I'm going to show you how to create functions with this program and reduce the number of lines. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I am going to take first function I'm going to create is to ask the user for their name, right? And to do that, I'm going to start here. Let's call it define function. I'm going to say collect, or rather, let's say greet user, right? I'm going to define a function called greet user. And then I am going to, as you can see, you start with a colon and then you see the indentation, just like we had with the ifs and the loops, there's an indentation there, right? So when we're in the indentation, we're in this function definition. When we're outside, that means we're now in the program, right? Okay, so let's go back there. So I want to greet the user. So how am I going to do that? I am just going to take this code here and then I'm going to shift it into the function there, right? And I'm going to, and then there, okay? So now I have a function called greet user. And what it says is it prints good day, and then it asks for the username. So now how am I going to do that? I'm not going to say greet the user, right? Let's say print, and then f string. I'm going to say, what am I going to say? I'm going to say good day and the username, right? So that's just to greet the user. And I'm going to put some exclamation marks. Okay. Now I can use this here and I can just say greet user, right? I can call that function. And then let me run this. I can say Python, and this is first program, the Py. Good day. What's your name? My name is John. And it says username is not defined. What's that? Username is not defined. Print username. That's interesting. Good day. Username is not defined. The name is not defined. Yes, great. So remember, username is trying to look for the username here, but we put it in the function here. Okay. So, but we can see that, okay, good day. What is your name? And I say, John, good day, John. And then I could say, um, where are you going today? Okay. Now that's just to greet the user. Now I could have a whole function for collect user data, collect trip information, right? Like say, where are you traveling to? And where are you traveling to? And what is the distance? And that, right? Okay. So what I want to do, it depends on you. I'm going to say, I'm going to ask the user, where are you traveling to in my greet? Good. Actually, let's just make it in one. Good day, John. Where are you traveling to? Okay. Now, or I could say, where are you traveling to? Right. And then I could say, enter distance. So here I could say, enter destination. All right. And then I could terminate and end it on a new line. And if we run this, we will still get some errors here or there. John, and it says, okay, good day, John. Where are you traveling to? And I entered my destination and I say I'm going to Cape Town. And it'll continue running along. Okay. But let's just stop it, right? So you see that. Now it says greet user, um, enter your destination, destination input, destination distance, budget, right? Now I could call this function, say define trip info, right? Now in here, I'm see all these functions, I haven't passed anything, right? But let's just continue. I haven't passed anything as a parameter. So I'll just say, okay, ask for the destination and then that, okay, and print it there. And I will indent this to the right, that as well to the right, this to the right. And let me make sure that that's all good. Good. And then I'll push this to the right as well. And then let's just remove this to make it. All right, so now I have another function. It's called trip info, all right? So it's going to say destination. It's going to ask me for the destination. It's going to say, what is the distance to this destination? And I'm going to convert this destination, right? And then, you know what? I want to return this destination, okay? And I want to return it as a variable. So I'll say return destination int. Okay. So now I'm going to call it in my function. So let's comment this. Let's say greet the user. All right, now collect trip information. We're gonna have another function. All right, so I'm gonna say collect with two L's, collect trip information, right? And then we're gonna say trip distance, right, is equals to trip info and that, right? And it returns an int because that's an int. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so I'm gonna run it again. Let's see if it works. What's your name? My name is John. Right. Okay. Good day, John. Where are you traveling to? I'm traveling to Cape Town. What is the distance to Cape Town in kilometers? Right. It's still writing from my function. It's in here. Right. It's in the trip info. Right. And we're going up there. What is the distance to Cape Town in kilometers? What we see. It's asking me to enter a number, and I'll say it is 1,500. And then it's now continuing there. Right. So let's end this. Right. Let's end that and let's clear. Cool. So now we know that we have returned the trip destination and it's getting to this one. So now I want to know what the budget input, what is the budget, what's the economy, what's the car economy and car. And actually all of this could be in the trip information, to be honest. Okay, so I'll just take all of that and then cut and paste this here. And then I'll remove that return statement there. So let's just remove this and then paste this and then bring this back, same indentation. So, all right, so I've put all of this in trip info. So I'm going to calculate my distance and convert it to an integer. I'm going to ask about the budget, say budget int, okay, convert it to a budget, to an integer, and then cost trip. Okay, so I'm going to use the budget and the cost strip outside of here. And not to confuse us right now, not to confuse us right now, I will redo that. Okay, let's undo that. So I'll create one for, and so I'll create another function for the budget, right? I'm going to say define trip budget, right? And that's just a function, and we're going to look at. So remember, what is the budget? Essentially, this is going to return the budget, how much we're going to spend as an integer, and I'm going to paste it there, and then I'm going to shift it so that it's in the function call, right? Indentation is always important. Just check it out, and right. So push that and push that, right? And then I'm going to return just like before. Return keyword budget int. So it's a keyword, so therefore you can't use this as a variable name, right? Budget int. Now I can say get budget for trip, and I can say trip budget, right? Let me spell that correctly. Trip budget is equals to I think that's the name of the function. Okay, let's give it a budget. All right, it's trip budget. Okay, so this is the budget, and then we're going to call the function budget trip, and that should return the budget integer, right? So what's going to happen there is when I call this, it's going to ask me what is the budget, and I'm going to put in a value, and then this is going to convert it. It's going to convert it to an integer, and then it's going to return that. And since I return that, it's going to save it into a variable called budget. Okay. So then now I have this about my car, right? Car economy and all of this, right? And also the trip cost. Okay. I think I could put all of this into a function, right? All of this up to here into a function. And all we want is, remember, we want the trip of the cost. Let's cut that. And just here, we're going to say define trip cost. Okay. And then I'm going to paste that here. And then I'm just going to indent all of this. Yeah. Okay. So when I call this function, I haven't passed anything to all of these functions as of now, but it's fine. I'm just trying to show you how to use functions. And then I'm going to say car economy. I'm going to call that. This is going to convert that to a float. This is going to calculate the, I'm going to ask you to input a fuel price. I'm going to convert that fuel price to a float. Then I'm going to calculate the trip cost. Right. Ooh, this is great. I can pass in something now. I can pass in this distance trip, distance, destination. And I'll pass that as my parameter, okay? That should go away. Now I'm going to say return cost of trip. Okay, cool. So now we have 4 functions, if I'm mistaken. Cool. So I'm going to call the trip cost, right? Let's say calculate trip cost, right? And trip cost, hopefully I didn't call it that. I called it that. Okay, cost trip, right? It's a bit confusing, excuse me, but it's going to be the function trip cost, and then that is going to take, right, the distance to my destination. And we've calculated the distance to my destination using this function, and we've stored the value as trip distance. So I will pass this variable as the parameter there. Okay. Now I have my trip cost, and I can calculate the cost trip. Now we have this decision making here. Now I can also, guess what? We can also create a function for this, and we will call this trip decision, okay? And we're gonna say define trip that's not you, decision, okay? And it's gonna take in the cost of our trip, and it's gonna take in the budget, right, integer. And then I'm just gonna paste all of that there. And just like before, I'm going to indent this, right? And it's also going to take in the destination. Now, do I have the destination? I don't have the destination. Okay, where you're traveling to? Oh, I don't have the destination. Where are you traveling to? And then in trip info, we get the destination, right? But we don't return it yet, okay? So what I could do is separate this, okay? Or there's a nice trick in Python where I can return more than one value. And I can say this is destination, right? So that is how you return more than one value in Python. And then I can now look at where I call this function. Where is it? Trip info. And I can say trip destination. So what is happening here is now the first variable will be assigned to the first return, which is destination. Where is it? There. And then the second would be assigned to the other one, right? So now I can now say, where's trip decision? So destination, great. So now let's call trip decision. Right, now trip decision. What's trip decision going to take? It's going to tell you. It's going to take the cost of the trip. And then budget int, we have a budget, and destination, which we have as trip destination, okay? So now all of that has been rewritten into functions, right? Now you might be wondering, well, we still have 70 lines of code or so. But however, this is now all of what we had before is just being executed in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines, right? And there's something in Python where I could actually, to even make this neater, what I could do is I could take all of these function definitions and store them in another file. And then I would now be able to call that file, reference that file, so that I would only have 5 lines, essentially. Okay, so now let's test it out. And let's just clear and say Python, first program. What is your name, sir? My name is John. Where are you going? I'm going to Cape Town. See if it works. What is the distance to Cape Town? It is 155. And what is the trip on my budget? SA fare costs about 900, so I would say about 1,000 rand. What is the fuel economy of my car? I'll say 0.012. What is the fuel price currently? 12.22. The cost of the trip is 453 9600004. I could actually make this round this off, but it's fine. And then it tells you this is within the budget. I recommend a trip to Cape Town. So now that is how we use functions, right? I've created functions. So this is an example of functions. I hope you guys were able to capture the whole essence of creating functions in Python. And I look forward to you creating your own user functions and contacting us about if you want to display or any help or assistance with your own user-defined functions. Happy coding. See you on the flip side.